Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, February the 8th, 2024. Thursday, February the 8th. You know, not a whole lot of movement going on, but it was Thursday, right? So let's dive right in. Oh, subscribe to this YouTube channel. So Michael does go and Michael does visit Sunny. And he apologizes, or he pretty much gave Sonny the opportunity to lay into him for why he didn't tell Sonny. And Sonny was pretty Sonny-ish to him, but not mob boss Sonny-ish. He was just a disappointed father. Oh, so you chose to do this, this, and this. And he said, um, he broke it all down. I gave it Nina every opportunity to come clean. He goes, I came over here to play the recording of you because he told him how he got Martin Gray to confess, right? He says, but you were so happy. I mean, all you talked about was how happy you were. So I went to Nina next. And I tried to force her or give her the opportunity to confess, and she wasn't going to do it. He said, so I decided I'm going to use it as leverage to limit the amount of time she can spend with Wiley and Willow to protect and Amelia to protect my family. He says, so you blackmailed Nina? Yes, I did. You know, yes, I did. He said, because Willow was getting closer and I couldn't stop that. He says, but I could slow things down a bit. And since Nina absolutely was not going to tell you what she'd done, that was the choice that I took. He goes, now, was it the right choice? No, because Willow still has not forgiven me for that, right? So now in the meantime, Drew was talking to Willow because he came to bring a report over to Michael, and Willow talked to him and she let him know, she's happy things are getting better between him and Michael. And he says, but Michael tells me you tried to recruit him in a revenge thing to get back at Nina. And he goes, yeah, I did. And he turned me down. She goes, well, I'm happy he did. He goes, you know what, Willow, he loves you. And he turned me down for you and his family. So Michael did what's right for him. And she says, but, so are you still going to proceed? He goes, absolutely yes. And he said, no, Nina has not begun to pay. And he says, I have come out of Pentonville, or she may have said, you've come out of Pentonville a different person. He says, yes, I am. He goes, what I went through. Because she goes, you're not the nice Drew that I know. You're not the compassionate and care. He goes, no, nope. He said, see, being nice and let my guard down, being caring, that's what got me beat almost within an inch of my life in Pentonville. He says, I'm a Navy SEAL. That should never have happened. Never. But he says, no, nobody's ever going to get the jump on me again. He says, and Nina, I haven't begun. She goes, well, I would. He goes, no. He goes, Willow, you can feel and do whatever you want, where Nina is concerned. He said, but me, as for me, absolutely. I do not forgive her and I'm going to make her pay. And so Willow just, she realized there was nothing really she could do, right? So we have Nina talking to Martin Gray. Oh, now she wants to move forward with Valentine's uh offer to her with her starting a rival. She says, I need you to look into my employees' contracts, their NDAs at Crimson. He said, well, I've already glanced at them once before. He says, they're ironclad. you know, and she's like, oh, there has to be some loophole. And he goes, you know what, Nina? He goes, your problem is relationships. You don't build any, except look, Sasha or Curtis, really. But anyway, he says, and you continue to want to alienate. And so she goes, need I remind you that I can have you brought up on charges and disbarred for revealing patient, attorney client privilege. He said, you see what I'm talking about? Right there. You see how you resorted to trying to threaten me? He said, that's not the way to get me to help you. Not the way. He said, because see, now you really gonna have to go all out and try to prove it. And I am an attorney. And so she just looked at him. He said, but that's how you do things. And that's why you're in the mess you in. It's of your own doing. And so he goes, however, I will give those contracts a peruse and see if there's anything, right? And so she goes, thank you. And she's looking, one of their main clients, advertisers, he came and he was telling Carly, oh no, the company, they're pulling their ads from Crimson because Carly doesn't have the proven track record that Nina has. And, they don't like the fact that, the owner of Crimson, of Aurora, just, put his girlfriend in there. And Carly's like, yeah, but Crimson is still running fine. And the staff is still the same competent staff. She goes, I may have a learning curve, but not that much. She goes, everything is still running without a hitch. And he goes, be that as it may, no, we're out. We're not going to take a chance on you. So Nina's still there with Martin, and he comes over to her, Nina Reeves. And Carly looks, and Brooklyn had just come up. Hey, Jerry. I'm just making up his name, right? Jerry. And how are you? He goes, well, we're just ending our relationship with Crimson because the new editor-in-chief is not you. And she goes, no, she's not. Thank you. And Carly in Brooklyn is like, what's going on? She goes, that's our main biggest client. And I've just lost millions because I couldn't convince him to stay on. She goes, and I see why. Nina is over there trying to, lure him. But Nina didn't have nothing to lure him with, but she was trying to make him realize you're loyal to me, right? So Brooklyn said, then let's do something about it. And Carly looked at Brooklyn. She goes, oh no, I do not like how Nina let my father, when he had lost his memory, she allowed everybody in town to think continue to think he was the one that called the SEC when he wasn't. And he didn't have his memory enough to say it's not him when he wanted to. Because Ned, before he hit his head, was telling everybody, I didn't do it. He had once said it wasn't me, right? So she goes, no, let's get her. So they're talking, Brooklyn, as the guy's getting ready to walk by, they were talking about how happy deception is with what Crimson is doing with their ad. And he goes, excuse me, did I hear you mention deception? Are you? And Carly says, oh, that's Brooklyn Quartermain. She and her grandmother have controlling interests of deception. And he goes, we were trying to get deception to enter in a deal, with us, but we cannot. Lucy Cole would not set an appointment with us, but we would like. So Brooklyn says, really? Well, we make the decisions, right? And me and my grandmother. So why don't we sit down and talk? And he goes, oh, I would love to. I would love to. So he sits down, and between Carly and Brooklyn, because Brooklyn is letting them know that, hey, we we love our relationship with them. So you can't go wrong. Ended up, he renewed and said he's looking forward to doing business now with both companies. And Nina is sneaking around trying to hear the rest of their conversation. And she was like, and so Carly, the guy is getting on the elevator with Brooklyn. Carly walks over to the guy and says, to Nina, and she says, Nina, you know what? You were right. You were right. The magazine business is tough. And Nina just looked at her, and Carly goes, but I'm tougher. And she smiled at her and turned and walked away. And Nina's like, see, now she's gonna let her need for vengeance put something in motion. See, that's Nina. Something in motion. But I wouldn't mind seeing a rival magazine. Let's see what they do. That'll be some fun, right? So then we have, okay, Chase is talking to, Finn is talking to Chase, and Chase was over there talking to Lois, kind of talking about wedding plans. And Finn was telling Chase that it's time for Gregory to live. He should not live alone anymore. And see, Chase is like, no, Dad is not there yet. Dad is still fine. We could get a thing, monitor. So when he falls, we'll know he fell. And Finn says, that's not our father's past that. He's not stable, Finn. And we don't want it to be to where he lives alone. He's fallen. We're depending on the monitor to alert us. He needs to live with Violet and me. And so Finn is like, Dad is going to see that as you taking away his independence. And so Gregory comes over and they end up talking to Gregory. And do you know, he agrees. He ends up agreeing. And Chase did not believe that Gregory was going to agree that fast. And he did. See, because he realizes, he knows. I was happy to see that he did, in fact, agree because he needed to. So that was where they went with that. Now, another thing that I really, really liked, right, is Anna sitting down with Kate and she says, okay, now it's time for you to share some information with me. Because he's like, you share with me. And she goes, well, you need to share more with me first. I loved Anna went to her Anna toughness, and I didn't talk about that. That's on this slide over here. Oh, she was in control of that conversation. Like, see, that's the Anna Devane I know and love. That's the Anna Devane I know. And so she was saying, and the guy said, oh, mob bosses are being taken out across the US. And he said that 4 of them have already been taken out. See, and now they're after Sonny. And so Dante says, yeah, so, and he goes, but I feel there's going to be a conflict of interest. We've got the mob boss in question, his son right here. And so Dante says, Sonny might be my father. Yes, he is my father, but I'm still a detective. He says, but what I'm saying is, he goes, why wouldn't you let my father know that he's being targeted and the others have been taken out? He goes, why would I want to help a criminal? He says, I want to arrest who's behind this whole operation. Protecting your father is not on my radar. And so Anna's like, he goes, and that's why I feel it's going to be a conflict of interest for you. And so Anna says, you know what? Let me tell you something. Dante is one of my most trusted detectives. He is not going to put his job in jeopardy. He says, but I'm with him. Why would you not let Sonny Corinthos know? He says, are you going to go and tell him? She says, look, I'm hoping you do the right thing. I'm going to give you the opportunity. She said, because there is nothing right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with telling him. We still have an obligation to protect. And Sonny should know so he could beef up security. That's the right thing to do. So anyway, Kate walks out and Dante says, thank you, Anna, for saying that. She goes, no. She says, I'm giving him the opportunity to do the right thing. Let's see if he does it. So then at the end, it shows Kate's going into Sonny's office to talk to him. So we'll see if he actually tells him. But before Michael leaves, because Sonny, kind of forgave him, but didn't I don't even know if they did a little father-son hug. Can't remember. But Willow calls, because after that conversation with Drew, she called Michael and she says, Drew brought over a file for you. And he goes, oh, okay, I will come by and pick it up right before we read the kids their good night story. Wiley and Emilio, their good night story. And she goes, and you know what, Michael? Why don't you go ahead and just stay the night? Wiley would love to have you here when he wakes up. Wiley and Amelia would love to have you here when they wake up. And he said, really? Are you sure? And she goes, yes. So he kind of turned and he looked at Sonny with more, oh my God, in his eyes, right? Happiness. And so Sonny just looked at him because he wants his son. They all love Willow. He wants his son's marriage to succeed. And what he said is, okay, what if I do take Nina back? What are you gonna do? He said, Dad, I learned my lesson. It's not up to me who you're married to. It's up to you. And you do whatever you want to do, because see, I got to focus on keeping my own family safe and together. So, we shall see. Look, they're doing this whole makeup thing because it's getting ready to come out that Michael hired Dex. Because Sonny's going to want to have Dex killed, and Michael's going to have to come forward and say Dex is not a traitor at all. So that's how it's going to come out. That's going to be the biggest rift between Michael and Sonny. It's going to be that. So that's it, everybody. Comic Corner. I'm only going to read a few because I have, oh my God, if you only knew my business obligations and webinars I'm doing. And anyway, got one early tomorrow morning. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to, I'm gonna go from the top down real quick. Kim says, where was Nicholas? He probably have not heard about it yet. No, I'm sure Laura told him. I am says, what if the shooter is Johnny Sakara? I thought Maxie helped him escape, but I think he was sentenced to 20 years for killing Anthony. He is in prison because a number of years ago, they went to the prison and showed Johnny for some reason. I forget who wanted something from Johnny. And then I am says, what happened to the original Heather? I don't know why she stopped being Heather. I am says, Cameron is handsome. It was great to see him. Cindy says, Dex should have been with Joss at a time like this. I know. There's no excuse for him not being there to support her. Deborah says, Cam looks taller. I'm glad Cam and Josh talks and still friends. Crazy Heather was over the top and blaming Kevin was wrong. He better be careful and keep the baby safe. And then Richard says, another great daily recap lady. Thank you, Richard. Linda says, for the writers to be focusing on Gregory's storyline, maybe it will turn out to be something not life-threatening yet, like ALS disease or like Lyme's disease. I do know that some sicknesses make you feel like you're dying, such as sinuses. I know. And even heartburn. I like how you did even heartburn. LOL. You doggone right. That heartburn is no joke. Oh, man. You think you're having a heart attack. And then Wendy says, of course it will. At one point, Anna had brain cancer, Sonny was was wheelchair bound. They do what they like in soap opera land. Well, remember when Alexis had cancer and Spinelli, Sonny was paying Spinelli to give her weed so she could be in her happy place. Marie says Jason is the shooter. He knows the layout of the island. Wendy says, I thought the same thing. Now he's after Sonny for starting him on the gangster life. No, that's not why he's after Sonny. Maybe he's another one back from the dead. He would never be after Sonny for that. Jason probably has another brain injury with the collapse of that tunnel on him, and he's being was probably brainwashed, or who knows? Victor could have got him then. Remember, it took them a long time for the Victor saga, another year for the Victor saga to end. Marie says, I believe Nicholas has um, a lot of, no, I believe Alexis has a lot in common, more than he and Tracy. Brenda says, me too. He looks out of place with Tracy. No love connection at all between those two. I know to me, they have a good friend connection. NK Rose says, where was the rest of the extended family? I wish they brought Esme back. Why? Uh, they will. Brenda says, me too. Esme should have been there too. She has his childhood love. Wait. Oh, not Esme. Oh my goodness. I wish they would have brought Emma back. And then Brenda says, me too. Emma should have been there. She was his childhood love. Yes, she was. Little Miss Emma Drake should have been there. And the four musketeers would have been three musketeers there. Denzel says, but on another note, I'm glad Michael will talk to Sonny. Hope he tells his father about hiring Dex and the rest of the story. Well, he sure didn't. Wendy says he should, but might not because he's on a mission to get Sonny killed. Mike's a hot mess. Michael is not on a mission to get Sonny killed at all. Even when he hired Dex, it wasn't to get his father killed, it was to get his father sent to jail. Wendy. And then my last comment I'm going to read, Denzel says, today was a sad and rushed funeral episode of General Hospital. Spitzer should have had a longer and proper funeral in the church. But the episode itself was good, including the return of Cameron Weber too, even Heather's crazy self. I ain't care for it. Um, if I was Kevin, I wouldn't care about crazy Esme's death. Like she's blaming Kevin for her death. She's trying to keep uh, her multiple times. I don't understand this comment, Denzel. She was still crazy, but I feel for Trina about her pain. The pain she's going through, but I don't want Trina to give up on her future. It's the grief that's talking. She's going to be okay. She's going to go back to PCU. I see Gregory surviving. I don't see the writers writing him off. I don't see it either. Finn is going to definitely find a treatment to save Gregory. And then Wendy says, he'll be back in a minute. Maybe Trina will be pregnant or something like that. Or he's lost his memory. The GH way. Ha ha ha. I know that is so true. All right, that's just everybody for Comment Corner. Comment Corner. I will be back for another daily recap of General Hospital.